minimum government and maximum governance. In this video, my dear friends, I am going to be de-jargonizing for you what these four words mean, which is so much in news. Okay, and also I see this as any day an important question at the level of maths. So let's try to understand in greater detail what this term minimum government and maximum governance means. Vinay Kumar here, international NLP and IAS coach. In this video, my dear friends, like I told you, let's try to understand and analyze what these four words means to us. I would like to explain to you, my dear friends, the meaning of minimum government and maximum governance in terms of four roles to the government, in which it can be minimum while what it gives to the citizens, what it facilitates to citizens in terms of getting things done, okay, will be maximum, which we call as governance, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? I see for the government four roles here, and for the four roles I would like to give letter E as a starting point, my dear friends. The first role that I see for the government in terms of standing up to to its expectations as minimum government and maximum governance is enabler and catalyst. Number one is enabler and catalyst. Now, what is an enabler, my dear friends? Instead of being the driver and a doer that it was, for almost 40 to 50 years from the time of independence, right now we see government not mostly in the role of a doer or a driver, but we see it in the role of an institution that enables, that empowers other players to get into actions and make life easier and make provision of public goods and services easier for the citizens. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? So we no longer see government as being there and doing everything. Instead, we see government as a coordinator, as someone who's in a pivotal position and trying to facilitate things in such a way that multiple players who would like to contribute to public good can, are able to easily do it. If you look into the meaning of the term catalyst, my dear friends, if you look into the literal meaning of the term catalyst, you will get to know that catalyst is that which does not directly involve in a chemical reaction, but when present or when added to a chemical reaction can expedite it, can accelerate the rate of reaction. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? So how are we looking at the government now when we call it, when we want it to be a catalyst? We are looking at it as an institution that is there not maybe as a direct provider of goods and services, not maybe as something that is directly involved in getting things done, rather staying outside of the game and actually seeing that other players, like for example the private sector or the civil society and whoever is participating in this game of governance, are able to achieve best output, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to do? So the first role that I would like to look the government in is as a role of enabler and catalyst. That's the first E for you, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? 2, enlightened regulator. Now, as you all know very well, my dear friends, we are not in the age of state controls and license Raj. Okay? Imagine if an investor, if someone who wants to build an enterprise and generate employment opportunities and have multiple benefits to economy by doing whatever he's doing, has to run from pillar to post to secure more than 64 permissions and licenses, then don't you feel he's being discouraged from doing whatever good he has to do to the economy of a country? Yes or no, my dear friends? Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? See, regulation is good. It is required. But excessive regulation, or what we call as over-regulation, is very bad. We want government to be an enlightened regulator. How would we want to see government as? We would want it to be there as a regulator because, notwithstanding the competitive spirit of private sector, notwithstanding the fact that competition is a life force of capitalism, there are still, there's still scope for private sector to always fall back on practices such as predatory pricing, monopolization, cartelization, and all that, my dear friends. Correct? So, if let's say government is there as one of the participant or as a regulator, then I feel it can do the balancing act, and it can ensure that at the end of the day, citizens are benefiting the most. Imagine the case of telecom sector, but for TRA, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. We don't know what would have been the tariff for the incoming calls, outgoing calls, and all that. But for IRDA, we don't know how the insurance premiums would have been charged and all that. So be there as a regulator, but be an enlightened regulator. One more very good example that I would like to give to you for the case of government as an enlightened regulator, where the philosophy of minimum government but maximum governance is upheld, is the case of single window service, my dear friends. Instead of running from pillar to post to secure more than 64 clearances, licenses, all these things, my dear friends, how it would be if government has one website wherein an investor submits all the documents, all the relevant documents, and can secure all the licenses and all the clearances in just this one website. How would that be? Now here also government is regulating. Here also government is giving permissions and controlling what is good and maybe what is not good for the overall society or economy. But then it is doing it in a very enlightened way without discouraging the effort and initiative of the private sector. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? And in this way, government is able to gain more because it's creating a lot of avenues of employment for the citizens. Are you connecting to what I'm trying? A lot of growth for the economy, which again, as Adam Smith clearly points out, in the form of invisible hand is going to be for the welfare of all. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Perfect. So the second role that I see for government, when it has to uphold this principle, this philosophy of minimum government and maximum governance, is one of enlightened regulator. The first one was enabler and catalyst. The second one was enlightened regulator. The third role that I see for government in its effort to be minimal but do maximum, is to take itself into the role of an evacuator. You're wondering, sir, what is this evacuator? Don't go and see the meaning of evacuator in the medical science dictionary, my dear friends. You will be laughing at it. Here, when I use the term evacuator, like how the policy scientists would like to use this, I would like to recall watching an interview of our Pradhan Mantri Shri Narendra Modi with Aaj Tak television channel, my dear friends, where he says, when he's talking about the philosophy of minimum government and maximum governance, he says, why should government be in hotel industry? Okay, now this is a question to ask, my dear friends. Why should government be in many sectors or areas where its utility is completely outlived, outdated? Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Don't you feel this is one more case of minimal government and maximum governance? See, be there as an enlightened regulator. Look into how it is doing after you have, vacated the space and allowed the private sector to get in. You just be there as an observer. Yeah, be aware of the machinations of capitalism, and if possible, try to regulate it in the best interest of citizens. But then you yourself being there, running a 5-star hotel or making bread and jam is nonsense. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Perfect. So, all those places where there is no relevance for you any longer to be there, in the best interest of citizens, in the best interest of getting things done, which is what is the meaning of governance. Okay, you better have to vacate. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? One more role which actually stands for minimum government and maximum governance. Coming to its fourth role, which again starts with E, is entrepreneur. Now, this is a fantastic role, my dear friends, because here what the government is doing is, it's acting as, again, like I mentioned to you in the very beginning, like a catalyst, like an enabler. Do you know what an entrepreneur does, my dear friends, and how an entrepreneur is different from someone who is self-employed or someone who is a solopreneur? An entrepreneur is not involved in doing everything done. Look at here. He's not involved in doing everything. Okay? He is involved in getting everything done. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? If you are a doer, then you don't qualify into the correct meaning of entrepreneur. Rather, I would like to put it like this. If you are doing everything by your own, then you don't fit into the definition of entrepreneur. You are self-employed or you are a solopreneur. Okay? If you have to be an entrepreneur, you will have to be duly able and competent to mobilize the resources, of all sorts, material, human, every front, whatever resources is there, you should be able to put it into place and ensure that there is maximum output available. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Perfect. Connecting to what I'm trying to tell you. So that is an entrepreneur. Now what the government has to do, rather than becoming a doer everywhere, it will have to mobilize the resources and make sure the best outcomes are achieved. And as an entrepreneur, thinking and acting like an entrepreneur, a government has to treat its citizens no less than clients and customers. And there has to be value for the taxpayers' money. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Not only that, my dear friends, as an entrepreneur, government will have to not just concentrate on budgetary outlays, which it has been doing for ages. Rather, it will have to focus on outcomes and output. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? So this is how a government can become minimal government. Okay, it's minimum, but governance is maximum. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? It's not doing everything. It's not micromanaging. It's not getting into actions everywhere by itself. Rather, it is there as a leader, as a visionary, as someone which knows the direction and ensuring that people are doing things on time in the required quality and quantity. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? And that is what is all about governance. Governance as an evolution, governance in terms of its evolution from the term government is when either with or without government, how things can happen. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? By which, the desired outcomes, the desired goals are achieved. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Fair enough. Thank you. I hope you liked the way the concept of minimum government and maximum governance was simplified for you, my dear friends. To this, you can add your own examples, your own learnings, like you can bring in the use of ICT, you can use e-governance, you can use e-government, you can talk about social capital, and all these things you can, add to this basic answer to enrich it, my dear friends. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked the video and you found it very useful and interesting, my dear friends, please share it with as many aspirants as possible. Thank you very much, my dear friends. See you all in my next video.